Welcome to the Voiceover Gurus Podcast.
My name is Simone Agee, and this is my VO journey.
Welcome back to another episode of the Voiceover Gurus Podcast. And today we are traveling down that VO journey again. And one of my favorite ways to do the podcast is to talk to students and folks that have been in this business, maybe not as long as someone like me, but still to hear their history, their backstory, how they got to where they are is fascinating, and maybe you'll learn something from it. So today I want to welcome Simone Agee. Hello.
Hi, Linda. How are you today?
I am good. I just went for a walk outside because it's like 72 degrees here in New York. It's so nice.
It's hot here in Florida.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You guys are already getting ready for the tough time of the year. So what temperature is it right now? Since I used to live down there, I like to relate to this stuff.
Oh, it's got to be in the 80s by now. It is really humid, and the summertime is fast approaching.
Then you're going to be really humid. Well, awesome. Well, thanks for coming on. So you have an interesting background because you've had some interesting jobs before pursuing this.
Yes.
So tell me how you got started. Why don't we first talk about what made you think about voiceover in the first place?
Mhm. Well, audiobooks is something that I absolutely love. There's something that I can go ahead and multitask while I'm doing other things, driving, doing things around the house, running errands. And I really got into how the narrating would literally color the story in your mind, and you can actually see what was happening in the plot. And I just found it so fascinating. And I found out it was a career called voiceover.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I used to read to my little brother bedtime stories and things like that, and do all the little character voices and just goof off. But I did not know that you could make a career out of this. So I was very interested to know more about it. I come from a background from the spa industry. I'm actually a retired massage therapist.
Oh.
I did it for 23 years, neuromuscular certified, sports massage certified, worked in a lot of 5-star places like Cane Ranch. I worked for the Breakers. I worked for
These are some serious hotels and spas.
Oh yeah. So well, having those certifications give you a specialty that really address people's problems. So voiceover came in a lot later just as interest, but the massage therapy had been there for a long time. And interestingly enough, I actually tried to leave it because massage therapists are clearly accepted now. But 20-something years ago, if you told someone you were a massage therapist, they kind of rolled their eyes. They was like, yeah, what kind of massage do you give?
Oh, they go down that road.
Or they just like, oh, whatever. It's just that's not a job.
Must be easy, just rubbing people all day, right?
Yeah. I mean, you couldn't get a job with benefits or salary. You can only be an independent contractor. And now it's totally different. They have salary plus commission. They have benefits that they give massage therapists just like any other job. So it's very accepted now, but back then it was not.
Interesting. One of my close friends is a massage therapist, and she just actually went out on her own with her own business, and she travels to people's. But I met her because I have herniated discs in my neck, and she was working out of a chiropractor's office. Giving medical massages. And let me tell you, this is no relaxation thing. This is someone who knows your body, knows what the issue is, and puts you through the pain to release whatever it is that is happening. So it's not one of these, like relaxing, put on the nice music, and, at least not with her. But you have to have an education in the body like you do.
Yes, you do. And having those certifications allow you to be clinical like that and be more medicinal instead of just the relaxation part. And I try to always kind of ease people into it. Some people are brutes and they just start digging in, but I don't do that. I always try to, ease my way in, because I've been on the other side of that. I know what it's like to have your neck and your shoulder jacked up into your ear and have to have somebody untwist it out,
Yeah. So you did that for 23 years.
Yes.
And then when did you move into this other career that I know you're going to tell me about?
Well, like I said, after 10 years, I did try to go ahead and walk away from massage therapy and do something that was quote unquote more serious because, like I said, it still wasn't accepted.
Gotcha.
So I was like, okay, I can go to night school and I can go into mortuary science. And mortuary science allowed me to use all my skill sets in one place. I
But
could do
how did you
administrative.
but how did that even cross your mind?
Actually, my father passed.
Oh,
My
wow.
father passed away in 2008, and I could not handle being in the arrangements. But when I saw how flawless the funeral was, how respectful and dignified it was, he was a veteran.
Oh, wow.
We laid him to rest, and it was no hiccups. And it
Mm-hmm.
was a really, really difficult time for our family.
Sure.
Because we were not expecting him to pass. He had just come out of surgery.
Oh, God.
And a couple hours later, he passed in his sleep. So it was a shock. We weren't prepared, but the funeral home was on top of it. And I was like, okay. What else do you guys do here?
That's what piqued your interest.
Yes, because being around anybody who's deceased is not a problem. That stuff doesn't egg me out. It doesn't gross me out. It is a part of life. And
Yeah.
when death happens, you have to have somebody who's professional, who can stay grounded
Yeah,
and
so true.
guide people through that, you know? So I was like, I can do that too. I can show compassion because I know what it's like to have to bury someone
Yeah.
that you love.
Mm-hmm.
And I also know what it's like to have to deal with somebody who's professional, who can help guide you without being a robot, you know, who
Oh.
can really help you understand what's going on. There's no confusion. And then they let you go and grieve privately, you know.
Mm-hmm. So how did you even find the doorway to get into a, funeral home service job? I mean, how does that even come about?
Wow, that's very difficult. It is a microverse.
Yeah, it seems like
It's
it would
very
be.
hard to get
Mm-hmm.
into the funeral service industry if you don't come from a family background where the family owns a funeral home,
Wow.
or if you can go the other route, which is corporate. So, me coming from no family that had any ties to the funeral service industry, I got a lot of side eyes like, why are you coming in here? Because they really want you to work your way literally from the bottom up, where you're picking up flowers and Kleenex and cleaning the parking lot and things
Ah,
like that,
okay.
and establish a relationship with them before they even consider bringing you on as an intern or
Wow.
putting you on a service. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to get in.
Some
So, um, for people that don't have family ties, I recommend going the corporate route because at least corporate, they will, be a little bit more open to
Do you
let you
first
come
go to
in the door.
school for it and then apply for a job at one of these corporate?
Well, you do have to do it's a 2 year as a associate's degree.
Mm-hmm.
It is in science, and then you have to do in Florida. You have to do a year internship. So
Oh,
you
wow.
do 6 months of funeral directing, 6 months of embalming if you're going to do the embalming side.
Mm.
Florida does not require you to have the embalming part if you don't want it. If you just want to do funeral
Mm.
director, you can do that.
That's a process. That's not like an
Yes, it
easy
is.
transition. Just go, oh, I'm waking up this morning and I decided I want to become a funeral director.
No.
I mean, that's not a easy entry type of job.
No, it's not. And you really have to be sure that you want to do it. But one thing about the job is never going to go anywhere.
Yeah, true.
You could take your time. If you don't like what you're dealing with and you want to take a break and come back and pick up your studies, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, nothing's going to change. Nothing's new in the industry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. People
So you're
die
not going to
every
come
day.
back and there's a bunch of AI robots walking through the funeral home now.
Yeah, true, true. You have to have that human connection. So that's one avenue that isn't, I can't see it anywhere in the near future being affected by a
Mhm.
robotic situation. Well, one thing that it does tell me though is that you're a tough cookie and you are very persistent. Like, no, you're goal oriented and you have an attitude like I'm going to put the work in and I'm going to do it. And that is so key for something so difficult as voiceover,
Okay.
you know?
Okay. I'm learning a lot about voiceover. It is very technical in some aspects, and the artistry comes through as well. So I'm enjoying the challenge of it because you really have to really think about what
Yes.
you're saying and how you say it.
Yeah. How are you finding it as far as being the performer goes? How are you finding that?
I think I tend to overanalyze.
Mhm.
That's something that we talked about in our coaching sessions was like my accent. My Southern accent does tend to come out, and I have to really watch not cutting off my words
Mhm. Right,
like I
right.
tend to do it in regular conversation.
Yeah, right. But now as far as the wrapping your head around it, because did you do any acting or any kind of singing or anything before you became a massage therapist when you were younger?
Yeah, I've always been musically inclined. So I did chorus all throughout middle school. We did plays all throughout there in high school. So I was used to being in front of people. And also, I'm a pastor's daughter. So
Okay.
um,
Yeah.
at the drop of a hat, my mom would put me in front of the church and go read the scripture.
That's perfect. Well, that's a great
So when it
foundation.
comes to that part, I'm not nervous about, but I think when you analyze the script, make sure you get your breaths in and really try to convey what the intent is. If you're going to be warm and inviting or you're going to be informational,
Yeah.
I have to pick up on that a lot faster.
Yeah, you seem to already have a bit of a background in it. That's definitely has to be helpful during this time. So now,
Yes.
when did you start to really decide you're gonna start to take the training and all that? How long has it been?
It's been a couple years for me transitioning out of massage therapy, and then last year when I was really going to buckle down and get into it, I wrote down my goals. I had my plan of attack, well, I should say 2022. Then my mom got ill,
Mm.
and a couple of months later then she wound up passing.
Oh my goodness.
So everything that I had planned for myself obviously got put on hold, becoming a caretaker
Sure.
and dealing with, the hospital, the doctors, the nurses, and all that.
That's life. Life just gets in the way sometimes, and we have
It
to
does.
put, some ambitions on hold, but it doesn't mean you can't come back to it.
Which is
Um,
why you've been seeing me a lot more often.
yeah. But it's so true. And that's one great thing about doing voiceover is that no one is measuring you and saying, oh, well, you've only done 5 voiceovers in the last, 10 days. So you can't audition for this. It's like, no,
Mm.
you can pretty much audition for anything at any given time if you want to, you
Well,
know?
that's what I'm hearing, that you've become a professional auditioner.
Yes. But the moment you book your first job and somebody says, here's some money, Simone, you're like, I'm a professional. I'm a voiceover professional. That's all it takes. That's all it takes.
Yes, yes. So the funeral industry itself, it definitely has its challenges. Like I said, the embalming part never bothered me. I was always good at doing hair and makeup. I used to do it on my family and friends all the time. So
Oh.
when someone passed away, that was my goal, to make them look like they were asleep and not deceased, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and I
That
got
is
really good
artistry
at
right
it.
there. Mm-hmm.
It is artistry. It is a lot of technical things you have to do. But I enjoy it because there's nothing like when a family gets the courage to just peek in the casket,
Yeah, and
and they
see.
go, I don't know, but I just need to know if it's her, and you open it, and they go, oh my gosh, she looks beautiful.
Wow. Did
And
you
then
ever
you
have
could,
one so challenging that you couldn't make it work?
well, the family knew. The
Yeah.
family knew. It was a tough case, and by the time I got done, even they were surprised at how much better the deceased looked. They was like, we know she was very ill before she passed, and
Wow.
yeah, you guys did a really good job.
Wow.
So
That's gotta make you feel good. And then
it does. It does. It's a part of the mission. The whole point is to at least give the family a chance to have some type of closure.
right, right. And help them with the healing process.
Hmm.
And have a
Hmm.
good memory of the last time that they see their loved one too. Yeah, that's that's
That's right.
that's a big responsibility there.
It is, and I took it very seriously. Before I retired it, that was a whole thing that I never ever let go of. That it's all about the family.
Mm.
I never let anybody else's egos get in the way. Attitudes of sales goals, like you have to
Mhm.
deal with corporate. It was always, if I was sitting on the other side of this table, how would I want to be spoken to?
Yeah.
You know,
Do you think that
what
helps you with your, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you, but do you think that helps you when it comes to finding a motivation for a particular type of read for a voiceover?
It does. You deal with all kinds of different personalities, and I take all those experiences and I try to pour them into my voiceover work when I'm practicing, when I'm auditioning. It's just a part of it. You meet so rich of different personalities of people that you could pull from.
Yes.
And I just really enjoy that, when you meet people. That's
Hmm.
something that you can use to go, you know what? I like the way that she sounds so dignified. So if I ever run into an audition like that, I'll know to sound really proper and sit
Yeah.
up extra straight and get that breath in.
Yeah. That's character study too. Character
Yeah.
study of people in your life too. So what do you think's been the most challenging thing for you so far as a voice actor?
Just continuing to have the confidence.
Mm.
Once you get that radio silence when you're waiting for a response, it's like, did I do something right? Maybe I should have took a
Are
breath
you talking
there?
about in a workout? Are you talking about in a workout for chance?
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah, I mean,
it's been many
it'll
years
rattle
for
you like,
me.
I didn't hear anything back, so maybe I should have. Well, let me look at the script again and overanalyzing.
I feel for all of you because it's been years since I was in that moment, in that moment, in that situation. And I know how nervous I used to be. And then you wouldn't
Mhm.
hear anything and you'd be like, oh my God, I was terrible. I must have ruined something. You automatically go down that road of like,
Yes,
I did something wrong.
yes.
Good enough. But
Very easy to go down that rabbit hole.
yeah, yeah. So maintaining that confidence, you think, is the most difficult thing so far for you.
Yes.
And that's a common thing. I mean, I don't know. Other than maybe Brian Lee, who claims he's never not confident, which I think is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Come on, you gotta have there is something inside of you somewhere that kind of pokes and says, "Oh, maybe that wasn't good enough today." You know,
Yeah.
it exists in all of us, whether we want to admit it or not. You know.
Okay. Well, I'm learning and I'm willing to learn more and more. I love the workout classes because you get to hear so many different types of voiceovers
Ah,
coming through and
that's
just
the
the
best.
approaches, the artistic approach. Love that.
Yeah, yeah, that is the best too. And you hear other people's interpretations of sometimes maybe a script that you did, or
Hmm.
someone else did, and you hear how they interpret it, which is fantastic. Have you participated in you haven't done the script in the script read challenge yet, have you, in the
No,
community?
not yet. Not yet.
You gotta do it because that's another way to listen to the other folks that are submitting their take on the sample script that I post.
I did peek at the Behringer one.
Okay.
I listened to, I think, about 4 people, and I was like, "Okay." One guy had music in the background. I was like,
I
"Excuse
know.
me."
Some people are getting crazy and they're mixing them. And I think some people do two versions. I mean, they're getting I know, very ambitious. They don't need
Hey.
to. It's a script read challenge, but I think it's great that they're having fun with it, you know.
Yes.
So you should definitely participate if you can, if you have the time, because it's good to get the feedback as well with likes if somebody, even though we don't do any coaching involving with it, but at least if you know that your read was good, somebody's going to say something and you're going to go, oh, I didn't realize I was good at that.
Yeah, I was gonna try the Behringer, but by the time I was gonna submit mine, you guys had already closed, and I was like, "Oh, I missed my window." But you guys always submit a weekly challenge, so
Yeah,
look forward to going in and submitting my name at
good.
one point.
So have you had a moment yet, Simone, where you're like, you read something or some voiceover that you did and you're like, oh my gosh, I think I can do this.
Yes, yes, and I was very surprised because it was for a dog food commercial.
Okay.
But it was basically talking about how the dog is the best friend and using this product gives them the best health. And I was like, okay, that's something that is very cool. And you have to definitely sound engaging and conversational. So I want to practice that skill set because that's very common now. That's what I see a lot of people looking
Oh yeah.
for, conversational reads.
Mhm. So when you did that read, you felt confident?
Yeah, I felt good. I didn't get the job, but
You still
I,
felt good
I
doing it?
I had fun with the read. I liked it. I liked the script, and I really enjoyed it. And I was like, you know what? Okay, yeah, I think I can do this more.
So now is your life flexible work-wise so that way you can possibly start auditioning during the day?
Yes.
Okay, so that's great. So you've set yourself up so that can be now more of a reality for you.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm definitely doing more and more of it. It's just that there's so many scripts
Yeah.
to choose from, and there's so many different avenues, and that I love because it's not going to get boring.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, you can do narration, you can do commercials, you can do advertising, you can do e-narration, you can do so much.
It's kind of mind-blowing how many jobs are out there. I mean, I know
Mhm.
I realize there's so much competition, but the fact that there are so many opportunities is very exciting
Mhm.
because it's true. And you might fall in love with a genre you didn't even realize you might be good at, you know?
Well, I wish I would spoke more than one language because there's definitely a big
Yeah, I
pocket
know.
for that. Wow. Do you
I
see
know.
that? The bilingual, the Spanish one, Mandarin.
I wish that my folks had forced me to continue in Spanish when I was a little kid, you know, because I would be making so much more money. But anyway, alas, here we are, and that did not happen. But regrets. I'm looking back, regrets. That's one of my regrets. So, what about a dream client for you? If you could book any client,
Hmm.
what would be who would be your dream client or dream product?
I would say Coca-Cola. They had some of the best commercials. They were
Mhm.
funny. They
Okay.
were engaging. Some of them had singing in it. And, I was like, man, I would love to do that.
Coca-Cola's, it's what strikes your
Yeah,
fancy.
because they have so many different approaches that they come. They got the holiday commercials. They
Hmm.
have the close-up sound effects where you can hear the fizz and the bubbles with the ice, and you hear the guy that does the voiceover for it. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow.
What about but I could hear your voice suited for some luxury stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
Really?
yeah, because I I never thought that. I was thinking more commercial things for
But
me,
it could be a
but
luxury commercial, you know?
okay,
So it's just the
okay, I'll try
style.
it.
Because I think we have worked on a few of those things because I can remember now you have a very nice read with that. So you
Oh,
gotta
okay.
open yourself up. You never know.
Well, yes, I will try it. I'm willing, and I'm willing to learn more because there's a lot to take in, and sometimes the approach you have to take a step back and go, you
Hmm.
know what? Take a deep breath. Really think about what the client wants. Make sure
Right.
you get your breath pauses in with the script read, and just settle into the pocket. You know.
Right. Hmm. So how far along do you think you are? Have you set up your studio yet?
It's halfway set up. I'm being very nitpicky. Unfortunately, in my neighborhood, there's a neighborhood DJ who
Oh
loves
no.
to blast his car music or whatever, and that bass comes thumping through. So I got to
Oh,
get more high density foam
to try to
to
block
put
that.
into the
That's
corners.
tough. Hmm.
Mhm.
That's tough.
It is tough. It is tough. And there was a wedding or something like that, and he really had a real blast then. So, but I know he made a lot of people angry because everybody was trying to go to sleep at 2 a.m.
Sure. They don't
So
have no
yeah,
noise ordinances where you live?
they do, but you know how it is. If it's a celebration like that, obviously like a wedding, then people kind of cut it a little slack. But I know he got on a lot of people's nerves.
Yeah. That seems to be one of the biggest issues that so many people have, obviously, is figuring out in your neighborhood or wherever you live the proper time that you can get that quiet. And for
Yes.
some folks, it's really hard. I have a
Yes.
student who lives in Queens, here in New York, on Queens Boulevard, okay, which
Ooh.
is one of the most heavily trafficked, noisy streets. And he's like stuck. He can't, unless he packs up his family, but his parents
Mhm.
also live in the same building. It's this whole thing that he's trying to figure out how to do it. But that's a serious struggle. And then I have some students that can only work at night. And then I have some
Oh,
students that can't work at night because they're going to be bothering people that are next door to them. It's a whole load of challenges that initially in this stage you face,
yes.
you know.
Yes, and I'm learning more about it because I actually had a little tinnitus. So when I was doing my research with soundproofing my walk-in closet, basically, I heard other voiceover actors go, you got to get your high density foam in there because that the bass it'll just travel right through the wall. even with your HVAC systems, when they come on, you got to have something to dampen or deaden that sound. And having tinnitus, whenever he would try to play the music and that bass would throb, I would definitely hear it.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah, and it would reverberate in my ear. And once my tinnitus cleared, I was like, I really get what they were talking about with that.
Right.
It's
That's an
true,
interesting challenge.
100%.
Mm-hmm. So now
So
you're no longer doing the massage therapy?
that's right.
Okay. And you're no longer working in the funeral home.
That's right.
Okay. So how are you financing your voiceover dreams?
So I had savings, and
Okay.
I also work from home part-time.
Okay.
So
Good.
that's what I've been doing.
Awesome. That's always an important thing, and I like to talk about it since we want to make sure that we have a little bit of a foundation there in case
Of
it takes a
course,
bit
of course.
to book a job. And that way
Yes,
you can have that
feast or famine. And it
freak
was
out
like
moment.
that well, feast or famine for massage therapy too. It's either you had a lot of clients or you barely had a trickle during the summer. So
Yeah.
I'm used to that. That doesn't bother me, but it's just making sure that I feel comfortable with the script. And I've definitely done my, research and with the company and try to see what they really look for,
Wonderful. Well, it sounds like you've got things squared away there, lady.
Yeah, I'm in the beginning stages. Hopefully I'll be old soldier 20 years from now. It's like, yes, I've done this much video work.
Well, you keep at it with that attitude, and I have no doubt that you'll find some success.
Well,
Because
thank you.
it's the hard work is really where it's at. You know,
Hmm.
and as long as you can get your craft mastered after that, it's blood, sweat, and tears.
And
So
see, a lot of people don't look at it like that. It's actually really a craft.
mhm. Yeah, I
They
mean,
think it.
once you get, and yeah, I feel like it's a craft too that you can never stop learning because
Mhm.
things change and you have to keep up with what's happening in the business. But, just like anything else, once you've got your product solid and you feel confident about it, product being your read, then it's pounding the pavement and getting out there and keeping your head screwed on straight so that way you can get through the stressful times and the times when you don't book a client or whatever, or
Mhm.
dry patches. So this week I'm like deader than dead, and it's just it happens, but
It's
yet
like a seasonal thing, though. Do you guys have like a?
I used to think that. And then that's why I was preparing myself like, oh, August is coming. I'm always dead during August. And all of a sudden I get all this work. So
Hmm.
the same thing last fall. Usually things really slow down for me, but from Thanksgiving to the new year, I was packed for
That's
2023.
good though.
But it just you can't, there's no rhyme or reason sometimes. It's just a matter of being available and making hay while the sun shines, as they say.
Hmm.
Because I have
There
not
is
found it very
definitely
difficult.
there's definitely seasons for massage therapy and funeral service.
Hmm?
Believe it or not. Yes, the summertime is a very slow time for massage therapy, especially here in Florida because the snowbirds go back.
Okay, but what
But
about
people
people?
travel.
But people
People
continue to
travel.
die, so they're not dying in the summer.
For the funeral service industry, actually we actually call it the season of death. So literally from Rosh Hashanah into the new year, right after the new year, we are slammed in the death industry.
What?
And this simply because of the holidays. People hold on to see the grandkids, the great
Oh my
grandkids one more
gosh!
time. And as soon as Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's happens, there is a flux of deceased coming through every
Wow!
time, every year, like
Wow.
clockwork.
That's fascinating.
Hmm.
So,
Well, they want to see the kids one more time, to see the grandkids. So love will hold it, will stave death. It really will.
that's fascinating. Well, I learned something today. This is great.
Yes, yes. I just can't tell you how many times it's happened. From the 8.5 years that I served in funeral service, it was a pattern every time, every
So,
time.
so what about a slow period though?
It's slowed down in the spring.
Hmm.
We didn't see as much, but the common thing is, for the elderly to pass.
Okay.
And unfortunately, what we call the season with the holidays, a lot of people are not happy with the holidays. So if they did have good family connections, they hold on to see the family. But if they don't have any family connections, then the loneliness makes them want to give up.
Oh, okay.
So that's what happens. And obviously we also see holidays with younger people, from suicides, homicides, and things like that take place around the holiday times every time. Yeah.
Wow. Is that a cat?
Yeah, he's my cat. He's vocal. I'm sorry.
I hear him. No, trust me. I have several cats, so I'm fine with it. Just not at the studio. I wish I did. So, okay. So I want to end on a high note here when we talk about funerals. Have you ever done a funeral that the service has been this like crazy party, happy, upbeat thing, celebration of life?
A happy celebration of life? Actually, no.
Oh.
No. They might start out like it'll be positive, but as we continue on, and maybe about halfway, it'll pick up and it'll get somber again. It gets sad. And be like, I can't believe we about to go to the cemetery now, you know? And it hits them again, you know what I mean? But yeah, the happiest I've ever seen was someone who battled cancer a long time. And when she did pass, it was a relief.
Oh, okay. Right.
You know, and although the family, they were respectful, you can just see that,
yeah,
you know, we know she's not suffering now.
Yeah. There's truth to
it was more like that. Yeah.
All right. So that didn't work. And to try to get a positive from her. How about, let's see, we talked about your dream client. Have you ever come across a script that you're like, oh my gosh, this is so much fun, I want to do this script?
Not yet. I've seen a couple of them that had me laughing because of the way they lined it out.
Okay.
One was a coffee one, and what was the other one? I think it was for a girl's doll or something like that, and it was cute. It was cutesy, and it just made me smile reading it.
Okay.
But no, not laughing where I couldn't get through it, and not try to audition for it properly. No.
It was upbeat and happy, which is a good thing too. So, okay, wonderful. There we go. We're ending it on a good note. Thanks so much for sharing your story, because I hope this helps inspire folks of all walks of life and backgrounds that if you want to do voiceover, you can do it. Just making that decision and moving forward. I do love that about this business, is just that all of us come with such varying backgrounds and experiences that to find out what someone did in a prior life and now pursuing a passion, it's very rewarding, very rewarding. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
And that wraps it up for another episode of the Voiceover Gurus podcast and the VO journey. And we've got, of course, workouts and stuff. The best way to reach us is to go onto our website at voiceover.guru and join us for a workout. Simone was just talking about the workouts, and we have a lot of fun in those. We're actually doing a happy hour one tonight, which should be interesting.
Yes, I will be there.
Oh, cool. All right. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to prep you for it, because I just talked to Kevin about what we're going to be bringing to the table tonight. So,
what topics? What are we doing?
I know. There's an actual menu I have created, a voiceover happy hour menu. So this is just going to be fun. It's going to be 90 minutes of fun. This is our first time trying it. We're going to see how it goes. Libation. You bringing a libation?
Oh, we have to bring a libation with us? Okay, well, yes, I can whip up something in here.
It's encouraged, because it is a happy hour and we are just relaxing and chilling. This isn't going to be the traditional coaching thing.
Okay,
yeah,
yes.
Okay, there you go. This is a good way to end the podcast. So thanks again, everyone, for joining us, and we will see you real soon.